My name is Hodan Ahmed Hassan. Well, to tell you the truth, 9/11 has changed a lot of things for the Muslims in the United States. My experience post 9/11 there has been a lot of negative experience as a Muslim, especially as a Muslim woman in the United States. You know, there has been many incidents where people have been targeted, where people have experienced it, discrimination, name calling, vandalism of mosques. I have lived prior to 9/11 in this country. I love this country, and I have loved it prior to 9/11, and I continue to love this country because I have lived here most of my life. But 9/11 has opened a new experience, a new eye-opening for me and the people that live in this country that call themselves Muslims, for we have experienced many prejudice against us. The U.S. has changed after 9/11. There's been many policies that has been created after 9/11, such as you were, subject to second screening when you're at the airport, or anybody can pick on you when you're at the airport because your last name is Muhammad or Hassan. Lucky me, my last name is Hassan. So a lot of things have changed, whether it's schools, whether it's laws, whether it's, everyday experience. And we live to experience that. It has been a lot of negative experience, but there's also positive experience too. There are people who are fighting against that. There are people who are fighting against Islamophobia, which started after 9/11, which still continues and to be problematic for the people that live in this country. For me personally, the biggest news event that changed my view of America was 9/11. I remember I was actually sleeping when the World Trade Center was bombed, and I get a phone call from my mother saying that, there has been a bombing at the World Trade Center, and everything from that on has changed. It has been an eye-opening. You have to look at TV every day and see, there has been a Muslim country that has, it's experiencing problems. There's been a Muslim person that has been detained. There's a Muslim person that has been, targeted because of, Islamophobia. So everything has changed for the people that live in the United States. Luckily, we live in Minnesota, and Minnesota, they say Minnesota nice. So that comes into play. So a lot of incidents, don't happen in Minnesota. And there is a very large Muslim community in Minnesota. And we're trying to teach people that there are positive things about, Islam, and there are, we're peaceful people. We are not all terrorists. We're not all out there trying to kill people. There is only a minor radical group, a very minority radical groups that are trying to do that. Even sadly, they claim that they're Muslims, but we don't held the same view as they do. And we're peaceful. I live the same life as everybody, as any average American. I work, I went to school here. I have my son who's 7 years old now. I wanted to raise him to be peaceful, Muslim, to call himself a Muslim American and live peacefully in this country.
My name is Abdi Salam Adam. Well, my experience in the U.S. post-September 11 has been one of alertness and awareness. The last 10 years, September 11 has manifested itself in many ways in my daily life. I'm involved in community activities in Minnesota, as well as in education as a teacher in the St. Paul public school system. And the events of September 11 have affected our local community, as well as the Muslim community, and also in Somalia. And I could say directly, as soon as September 11 happened, it affected our local community in the sense that some very important money transfer agencies were closed. And even we received the news of one of our elders who was killed, or who was attacked in a bus station and died as a result. And I remember us holding press releases and trying to calm down the situation. So it has been really a life-changing experience for me, and it has affected me in many ways. Well, the U.S. in the beginning, it was very understandable that an attack of this proportion happened on very important infrastructures in the US. And I was really glad to see the unity that came as a result of these attacks and worldwide sympathy and solidarity with the US. And that was naturally expected. However, some of the wars that have taken place since then and the expansion of US military in many parts of the world has affected the goodwill that a lot of people had for the United States. So I feel September 11 has affected many people in many ways. And I think on this 10th anniversary, we need to go back to the lessons that we all experience immediately after the events happen. And that's the lessons of coming together, of showing the world community and the healing process also to take place, whereby something positive will come out of these tragic events that have no place in any religion and in any walk of life. So it's really sad that this event has overhung us for so long, and hopefully something good will come out of it. Well, for me, as a Muslim American, September 11 has changed my life as well. I mean, as I mentioned earlier, but some of the other major news events that have affected me included the civil war that has been going on in Somalia for so long, that has left a country that was proud and a kind of proud country to be so disintegrated. And especially the Ethiopian invasion of Somalia, which we can say was also a result of the September 11 attacks because of the US war on terror that has given the green light for Ethiopia to invade Somalia in 2006. That also has affected me in many ways because our community was so divided, a lot of nationalism that led to some young people going back to Somalia to fight, and tragically we lost some of our young people, and it has affected our local community in many ways. So that also was a development that affected my life in many ways.
Yeah, my name is Saeed Fahia. My experience of being a Muslim in abroad and in the United States post 9/11 is that it impacted me like many Muslims. I work at a community center, and it means many people came to me that day and asking me what's happening. And there was fear in their eyes. They were apprehensive of what would happen to them, being from civil war and from a trauma of a civil war, and having been in refugee camps. They were afraid that they would lose their residence here and so on. So it was a hard time for many Somalis, Somali Muslims. And in their eyes, I saw fear, and so it was important to me that they be calmed down and that they speak with authorities, and so that we invited law enforcement, and so it was a time of a trial for many people. I feel that after 9/11, people came together. They came together as one people, and I felt proud of them in the sense that people wanted to help each other. I learned a lot about the United States in that there is a legal system that protects everybody. There are so all the authorities and the law enforcement and were coming to the community and talking to us, and so there has been a lot of interaction with, and many people learned about the Islamic religion and Islamic culture and Muslims. But at the same time, there has been other things that happened, like at the beginning, some hawalas were closed, People were insulted in the streets, but it was not widespread, but some people were harassed and so on. Our experience was that there was a good and bad. I mean, there were a lot of people who helped us. I think 9/11 itself was something that changed people's lives, but other events were also there. The Somali Civil War and the invasion of Ethiopia, of Somalia, was very hard on many Somalis, very difficult, and that affected me also.
My name is Qasim Basari. The only experience that I have, I grew up in this country, so the only experience I have abroad is this country. Being a Muslim here in this country, when 9/11 happened, I was the only Muslim in my class. I was in 8th grade. I was walking to class, to my art class, and our principal came on the intercom saying, she was crying. She was crying. Everybody was emotional. She was crying. She said, our American soil was attacked. Everybody needs to go back to the homeroom. So we went back to our homeroom. The principal came back on. She was crying. Everybody in the classroom was crying. So it had a lot of effect on me, because now all the people that I went to school with look at me different. Not only am I Muslim, I'm also black as well. So they're looking at me different, and they also are asking me questions. So the people that I had friends, used to have friends, now are questioning my friendship with them. So I have to explain everything about Islam. So that even pushed me more to learn Islam myself, and to be connected to the masjid, and to connect to one of the sheikhs, Sheikh Muhammad, and he taught me a little bit more about my own religion. And so I can, when I was asked the question, I can explain myself a little bit better. How do I feel the U.S. after 9/11? There's a lot that has changed. There's a lot that has changed because when we first came, people were trying to get to know us as Somalis, as Somali people in this country. But when 9/11 happened, people made the connections that Somalis are Muslim. So people are not only asking us about Somalia, they're also asking us about our faith. There's a lot of things that happen with the community. I think being a Muslim in America post 9/11 has made us stronger and has made us come together more than anything, and to support each other and to be a better American as well. We have given back to the community, explained a lot. There's been a lot of people who became Muslim because of this incident, because they wanted to learn about the religion. And also it made a lot of connections. The community that was apart now came together for a cause to make sure that everybody's grievance. We were sad about the people that were lost. In 9/11, there was a lot of people that died in the ground zero that were Muslim as well. So this sadness and grievance brought the community together as well. What news event changed my world? There's a lot of things that happened after 9/11 that changed the way I see the world and the way the youth see the world. I want to say the wars on Muslim land in Iraq, in Afghanistan, that has a big effect on us, because America is attacking Muslim countries, even though those people have done some things. So we were getting questioned about that as well. What do you have? What are you connected? How are you connected with those people? Other things that happened: President Obama, first black person to be an American president, and so this even gives us more ambitions and to do better and to do more. And now that we have him as a president, and other things that changed as well, it would be what's happening right now in Somalia, the famine, and I don't know how that's connected to 9/11, but the famine itself has had a lot of effect on us as youth. It brought us together, I think, because now that this famine is happening, we want to make sure that our people stop hurting, and we can help them, and we can do a lot to save the children and the people that are suffering in Somalia. So this has brought us together. I think this is one of the biggest things after 9/11 that has brought the youth, the Somali youth, the Muslim youth together to work together to help Somalia.